Pontiac GTO is hailed as one of the greatest muscle cars, thanks to its bold design and performance, setting the standard for muscle cars. Among its models, the Pontiac GTO Judge Convertible is the rarest and most coveted. Produced between 1969 and 1971, only 287 were made, with either a 400 or 455 cubic inch V8 engine and distinctive graphic. Designed by John DeLorean and inspired by the Ferrari 250 GTO, it featured a lighter body and powerful engine. But by 1971, stricter emissions standards led to the production of just 17 units, boosting its rarity. While the GTO Judge Coupe was more popular, the convertible became a hidden treasure. The Judge boasted Pontiac's powerful 7.5-liter V8, producing 335 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque. Despite not having as much power as rivals, it could hit 0-60 in 6.1 seconds and a quarter mile in 13.4 seconds with a top speed of 125 miles per hour. A 4-speed manual transmission made it a true driver's car. The GTO Judge offered exclusive options like the Ram Air feature, adding to its charm. Originally priced around $4,000, these rare cars are now worth an estimated $440,000. Driving one remains a dream for many, but the GTO Judge Convertible's timeless allure endures. Moving on, the Plymouth Hemicuda, one of the rarest and most valuable muscle cars ever made. Between 1970 and 1971, only 21 of these Hemicuda convertibles were built, just 10 in 1970 and 11 in 1971. That's an extremely low number for a mass-produced car. The 1971 Hemicuda, with its 425 horsepower 7.0-liter Hemi V8 engine, holds the title of the most expensive muscle car ever sold, going for a jaw-dropping $3.5 million. Why? It's the last remaining original Cuda convertible with a hearse shifter. Even back in the day, opting for the Hemi upgrade was pricey, costing $871 in 1970 and $1,228 in 1971, which is why so few people ordered it. With a 426 cubic inch Hemi V8 engine, it produced 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the most powerful muscle cars of its time. It could go from 0 to 60 in just 4.7 seconds and complete a quarter mile in 13.1 seconds, reaching a top speed of 117 miles per hour. And while the hardtop versions were already impressive, the convertible Hemicudas are real treasures. In 1971, only 7 Hemicuda convertibles were made, which explains their astronomical prices today. The last one sold for $3.85 million at auction. So if you're dreaming of owning one, be prepared to pay way more than the original $4,400 price tag. Want a piece of history? A Hemicuda convertible is as rare and valuable as it gets. We hear this car's name day in and day out, and it truly deserves all the praise. I'm talking about the Oldsmobile 442, which was based on the Cutlass, launched just after the Pontiac GTO as Old's answer to muscle cars. By 1966, it had already earned its place as a quarter-mile king, but Olds wasn't done flexing its muscle. For the 1968 model year, Oldsmobile engineers found a clever way to sidestep GM's rule against V8 larger than 400 cubic inches. They teamed up with Hearst Performance to create the Hearst/Olds, which was essentially a 442 with some unique flair and no engine when it left the factory. Hearst took over, stuffing the 455 cubic inch rocket V8 under the hood and pushing out 390 horsepower. The Hearst/Olds was produced as a two-door fastback coupe, but in 1969 they converted 3 442 convertibles for promotional use. Sadly, one was wrecked, leaving just 2 surviving models today, both held in private collections and worth a small fortune. They became famous for their giant gold shifters mounted on the trunk platform, and of course, the legendary Linda Vaughn. One of these convertibles was lovingly restored, complete with the oversized golden shifter, and even reunited with Linda herself years later. It's an unforgettable piece of muscle car history. You might not expect to see the Dodge Coronet pop up again on a list of rare cars, but here it is, this time with the ERT, Road and Track Package. In 1967, Dodge offered the Coronet with the then-new 7.0-liter Hemi V8, but only a few were made, and just 2 of those were convertibles. The story repeated itself in 1970 when Dodge upgraded the Hemi engine, But once again, only 2 convertibles were produced. So, if you're into rare muscle car convertibles, the 1967 and 1970 Coronet RT Hemi models are the ones to look out for. But here's the catch. You probably won't be able to buy one. These rare gems rarely come up for sale, and when they do, they fetch sky-high prices. The 1967 models can cost upwards of $300,000, while the 1970 versions are valued at over $1 million. These weren't just showpieces, though. The 5th Gen Coronet was a no-nonsense, high-powered machine, especially when equipped with the 426 Hemi, which packed 425 horsepower and 490 pound-force-foot of torque. While they weren't built specifically for the drag strip, they certainly performed like factory drag cars, boasting a 0-60 time of 5.1 seconds and a top speed of 137 miles per hour. In short, the 1967 and 1970 Coronet RT Hemi convertibles are incredibly rare, highly sought after, and carry a price tag to match their legendary status. So, would you be ready to shell out the cash if one ever hit the market? Believe it or not, Buick made some seriously powerful muscle cars, and the Grand Sport Stage 1 convertible was one of the best. Only one of these rare beauties was ever made with a 3-speed manual transmission. How did that happen when the usual options were either the 4-speed Muncie M22 manual or the turbo Hydromatic 400 automatic? No one knows. What we do know is that the GS Stage 1 was already rare enough. Packing a 455 cubic inch big block V8 that cranked out 360 horsepower and a whopping 510 pound-feet of torque, it was easily one of the most powerful muscle cars of its time. These were the golden years of the muscle car era, and the Buick Grand Sport Stage 1 proved Buick could run with the best. It's no surprise this car sits near the top of quarter-mile records. Wouldn't you love to see this Buick beast roar down the track? When many of you hear the name Shelby, the Peaky Blinders might come to mind, but here, we're talking about 1967, when Carroll Shelby did what he did best, put a massive engine in a lightweight car to make something fast and thrilling. One of his rarest creations from that year was the Shelby GT500 Super Snake. Originally, Shelby built this car for Goodyear to promote their new Thunderbolt tires, using a monstrous 427 cubic inch V8 from the Ford GT40 Mk2 race car. The Super Snake wasn't just fast, it was a beast on the road, capable of hitting speeds up to 170 miles per hour. That's insane for the 60s. Shelby had planned to produce 50 of these muscle car monsters, but Ford halted the project when they realized it would cost twice as much as a regular GT500. So, only one Super Snake was ever made, making it the rarest Mustang of all time. In 2019, this one-of-a-kind car sold for an eye-watering $2.2 million, making it the most valuable Mustang ever. If you're dreaming of owning this beauty, you'll need deep pockets and a lot of luck, because it's likely to stay in someone's prized collection. This car is a piece of muscle car history, fast, rare, and truly one of a kind. It doesn't get much rarer than this. There's only one 1968 Camaro Z28 convertible in existence, and it was built for GM's chief, Pete Estes. This one-of-a-kind car was painted dark fathom green and packed with special features like 4-wheel disc brakes, a performance suspension, Coney shocks, and a prototype fiberglass hood that later inspired the '69 Camaro. It came with a 302 cubic inch Z28 V8 engine rated at 290 horsepower from the factory, though in reality, it packed closer to 360 horsepower. Originally introduced in 1966 for the '67 model year, the Z28 was essentially a street-legal version of Chevy's Trans Am race car. Despite minimal marketing, those in the know appreciated its high-output, small-block V8 designed for racing. Officially, Chevy made 7,199 Z28 in 1968, all of them hardtops, except for this one convertible built for Estes through the Central Office Production Order Program. Today, the car is owned by Dana Meckham, and if it ever hits the auction block again, it's sure to fetch millions. It's the rarest, most valuable Camaro ever built, and owning it would take some serious cash. But if it goes up for sale, would you be ready to take the plunge and own a piece of history? Which of these cars from our list would get you back into the market? Let us know in the comments, and feel free to share your experiences with us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to help our channel grow, turn on the notification bell to stay updated, and give us a thumbs up. Looking forward to seeing you next time.